Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Scorpio November 2018 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up is as far as November goes, the Sun will be in Scorpio from the 1st until the 22nd. So the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention on the self, self-interest, the physical body, especially if this is the actual first house in one's natal chart, the outlook on life, new beginnings, a grandmother even, and also people in the early childhood, making that about first impressions and even defense mechanisms, and especially if this is the ascendant in one's chart. Now, given this is Scorpio energy, this could be done with a lot of Scorpio emotional intensity, resourcefulness, intractable, willful energy, but yet very sneaky and surreptitious, perhaps, energy as well. And in some cases, now also with a lot of transforming energy as well, and really also with a lot of power and control, and also going through subterfuge and superficiality. And this could even be, especially with people that might be, that could be a grandmother, or it could be somebody that you know, as far as someone from your early childhood, or someone that might be prominent in new beginnings. And anyway, the next thing up is, well, the Sun will be in Sagittarius as far as November goes, from the 22nd until the 30th. So the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention on income generated, finances, monetary matters, values, resources, possessions, self-esteem, and self-worth. Given this is Sagittarius energy, this may be done with a lot of expansiveness, exuberance, enthusiasm, ebullience, a lot of effervescent energy, and really with a lot of positivity, a lot of jocularity. Even it could be self-righteous energy as well. So just be careful at this time, Scorpio, that you're not, as far as your values go, and the things that you're doing maybe to make yourself feel better about yourself, and things connected with monetary matters, incomes, increasing possessions, resources, that you're not overly, as far as being self-righteous, thinking that, well, your way is the only way, and that there's no other opinions that may count. So just just be wary of that energy. And also, this could be done with a lot of blunt, very straightforward energy, speaking the veritable truth about these matters as well. So anyway, there will be a new moon in Scorpio on November 7th. So the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, well, this could be a time, you got the first house and the house of new beginnings. New moon can be about new beginnings. So this is a very good position for this. Now, this could be about a new Scorpio beginning, really about, it could be connected with some transformation of the physical body in some cases, especially if this is the actual first house in one's natal chart. It could be doing something something else Scorpio related, such as something with astrology, the occult, supernatural, locksmithing, doing something with investigation or forensics, embalming, working as a coroner, something that can be Scorpio related. You might be starting to maybe embark on a new mystery about yourself, and maybe in trying to, it could be about self-understanding, and something about yourself you think might be rather mysterious, and trying to get to that bottom of that, so to speak, maybe about who you actually are. And so anyway, it could be a new start, maybe of actually investigating somebody from your early childhood, or trying to find out maybe the whereabouts of that person, such as going online and searching extensively. You might find yourself rekindling a connection with that person. It could be a Scorpio sun, moon, or ascendant person, or someone that simply embodies Scorpio-like characteristics, and also about maybe starting a new, more provocative, sexy, sultry appearance, or maybe mysterious look, such as the dark glasses and hat, or doing something where you appear more mysterious than even as opposed to even as you do. And often Scorpio people have that look anyway, but you might even add to that at this time. So anyway, next thing up, there will be a full moon in Gemini on November 23rd, so the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, this could be a time where you might become tired, full, exasperated at somebody. It might be somebody that's very mercurial, vacillating, very extremely loquacious, gossiping, superficial, perhaps sexual partner, someone you're in an intimate relationship. It might be someone you might see as two-sided or two-faced. This could be also, in some cases, this could reflect the culmination or completion of a writing of an 8th house related matter, such as something with astrology, supernatural, the occult, something, a mystery writing, something that could be connected with psychology, something about as far as maybe dealing with a crisis or making a major change or transformation in your life. So it could also be something too where, I mean, when you're talking about a full moon astrology, it could often reflect an unveiling or revelation of something. This could manifest perhaps an unveiling or revelation of somebody you know that might be in some 8th house matter. It could even be just, again, a sexual partner, someone you're in an intimate relationship with, someone you're in a shared resources situation with, or in an 8th house profession such as psychology, someone that does taxes, or somebody in astrology, the occult, supernatural. It could be somebody that really it's a revelation maybe about them being somewhat maybe two-sided, somebody that's really maybe a little bit two-faced and very vacillating in their nature. But at the same time, this could be about some cases a completion or culmination of a Gemini, a transformation that was done using a lot of Gemini energy. It could have been something doing something that would be a major change or transformation. Gemini, like such as rebuilding an engine of a vehicle or a car itself, maybe making a lot of major changes to it. And even recycling. Now also too, this could be a lot of full Gemini energy into 8th house matters. I mean, such as dealing with a crisis, for example, or dealing with matters connected with shared resources or astrology or some other 8th house matters, and doing it with a lot of spirited, actually animated, vivacious Gemini energy, and doing it with really quick-witted ability. And Scorpio can be very quick-witted anyway, so probably wouldn't really be much of a problem for Scorpio to handle if this is some kind of crisis situation they're dealing with. So anyway, next thing up, as far as well, Mercury will be in Sagittarius in November. It will be retrograde from the 17th until the 30th, and the 2nd house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time for Scorpio, you might find yourself thinking very optimistically and positively about your finances and about your self-worth and self-esteem. It could be a time too, as I've stated previously, that Mercury is not just about communication. It could also be about siblings as well. This could be a time perhaps where you may have Sagittarius siblings that may figure prominently in your income, your possessions, resources, self-worth, and self-esteem. Even they may be Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Sagittarius-like characteristics. And the thing about this is, and of course, a lot of the aspects that are made, of course, to other astrological points in your chart can factor in whether they're actually factoring positively or negatively. So anyway, another thing is that also too, this could be about communications, very jovial, jocular communications, perhaps with the people you generate money with. It could be that in some cases there could be a lot of, given that it's going to be retrograde for about half the month, you might be doing some reviewing about maybe doing some writing, maybe about sports, religion, philosophy, law as terms of making money, or it doesn't necessarily have to be writing. It could just be thinking about a Sagittarius-like manner, maybe, or way of making money. It could even be something connected with with travel, with the subject of traveling. It could be working as a travel agent or a pilot, or something that's related to traveling, long distance journeys, I should say. So anyway, next thing up is, hold on a minute, people. Sorry about that, I'm back again. Next thing up, Venus will be in Libra. It'll be retrograde from the 1st until the 16th, and the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So anyway, this could be a time where, well, in some cases, it could be the disappearance of somebody you're in maybe a Libra connection. It could be a relationship or someone you have some strong friendship with. It could be a Libra sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply one that embodies Libra-like characteristics. This could be a time where, in some cases, it could reflect a clandestine affair with a Libra, sun, moon, or ascendant, or one that embodies those characteristics, and even dealing with maybe some kind of limitations in your finances, perhaps. It could be maybe it was some legal expenses or something Libra related that may be attributed to. Also about valuing peace and tranquility and solitude and seclusion as well. You might be also valuing perhaps intellectual sociability with people prominent in your private life, and also could be an aunt or an uncle, and also balance spending on those that are less fortunate than yourself, such as the homeless, the impoverished, the oppressed, and the hungry. So anyway, also, and also spending money on too many Libra-like things could be lead to the self-undoing, perhaps as well, such as maybe running out of money, and it's something you wouldn't want to do, obviously. So anyway, next thing up. Well, as far as November goes, Mars will be in Aquarius from the 1st until the 15th. So the 4th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, this could be, in some cases, really more contentious, acrimonious situations, perhaps with home, family members, people you're close at home with. You might find yourself getting involved in more unusual accidents in the home. You may see yourself, maybe at this time, you might be becoming angry at idiosyncratic, bizarre, or unusual behavior from home and family members, people you're close at home with. It could be people in 4th house professions, such as people that do like home renovation or real estate. And also, too, it could be a lot of like sporadic and erratic energy trying to delve into your roots and ancestry. At this time, you might have more fights with friends over home-related matters, or just simply in your home. It could be over people that you feel at home with, and maybe even over your traditions. Maybe there's some disparity over that and what you believe your foundations are as well. So also, too, this could manifest in injecting a lot of energy and vitality, perhaps into doing something Aquarius-like out of the home. It could be doing something with astrology, aerospace, innovation, electronics, or computers even. And also maybe putting a lot of energy and vitality into maybe doing something on a future home, perhaps for yourself. Anyway, next thing up is, as far as November goes, Mars will be in Pisces from the 15th until the 30th. So the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, you may find yourself putting a lot of compassionate, self-sacrificing energy with lovers, children perhaps, and also perhaps a lot of energy into something that could be fantasy related that you truly enjoy. It could be like playing Dungeons and Dragons or video games, doing something, maybe even fantasy football, because the 5th house can be connected with sports. Now, also, this may manifest perhaps in becoming angry over duplicitous, deceptive, indolent, even lethargic or apathetic behavior from a lover. It could be a child, someone you share amusement or hobby or some creative endeavor with. Perhaps you may also find yourself in some cases perhaps fulfilling a sexual fantasy, perhaps with somebody. It might be somebody that's a risk taker or a gambler, perhaps somebody that may be in some kind of fifth house type field. Could be somebody that's in an entertainment field or works with children or some kind of creative interest. So anyway, but also too, remember when you're talking about Mars and Pisces, this could be a time where you might feel like really loafing more and putting more energy into loafing and relaxing as opposed to doing. And being in the fifth house, well, the fifth house is about our enjoyment, so you could basically do the math as far as that goes. So be careful of succumbing to being overly indolent or lethargic at this time. So anyway, next thing up. Jupiter will be in Scorpio as far as November goes, from the 1st until the 8th. So the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, I've talked previously about how Jupiter can work. It's strongly benign and benevolent, but it's very paradoxical. It could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. Now, in some cases, this could expand the waistline for Scorpio, so Scorpio may need to refrain and guard against those real dark, rich foods at this time. This could also, in some cases, increase or expand surreptitious, nefarious, even manipulative behavior, perhaps on Scorpio's part or the Scorpio person's part, or simply it could be somebody that you may know from your early childhood. Now, this is a time, too, where you might come across more first impression being more humorous and jocular and jovial, but could be very kind of subtle, sarcastic, Scorpio-like humor. And also, too, this could be a time, too, where you put a lot of, it could be putting a lot of exuberance and enthusiasm into a Scorpio-like new beginning, such as doing some kind of it could be, it could simply be transformation of the physical body. This could be about maybe something with locksmithing, doing something with the occult, astrology, supernatural, something, maybe doing embalming work, working as a coroner, some investigation, something Scorpio related, and also very fortuitous for Scorpio, like new beginnings. So anyway, well, the next thing up is this will be Jupiter will be in Sagittarius as far as November goes, from the 8th until the 30th. So the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, this could be very fortuitous, perhaps for Sagittarius money-making endeavors. It could be something with working in stables, with horses, publishing, a travel position, something with sports. But as I've stated, of course, before and previously in other videos, that Jupiter, though it's strongly benign and benevolent, can be paradoxical. It could also have the tendency to enlarge and expand. In some cases, this could expand very self-righteous, foolhardy, even reckless behavior, even over-optimistic energy in connection with increasing income and doing what you have to do to increase your resources and your possessions and things that would improve your self-worth and self-esteem. Now, Jupiter is also about hope, so this could give you a lot of hopeful energy in terms, though, of generating income and making money. But it's also, be careful not to be overly reckless during this time as far as that goes. And you might even people you might generate income with might be really expressing very enlarged, foolhardy, reckless, self-righteous type energy at this time. And also it could expand a lot of the Sagittarius bluntness and that lack of diplomacy and tact at this time as well. So anyway, as far as those people that you might generate income with, or somebody that might be tied in strongly to your possessions and resources. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Saturn will be in Capricorn still. So the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, Scorpio, you might find yourself dealing with more restrictions and limitations and connections with communications, your short journeys. Might be making you feel somewhat despondent and melancholy. In some cases, this could be a depressive period for you, because remember, the third house is connected with the rational mind. And it could at this time also be about doing very laborious, regimented work, perhaps in your neighborhood or with siblings, with cousins, neighbors at this time. Hold on a minute, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. Anyway, and you might find yourself taking care of a debilitated or sickly sibling, cousin. It could be a neighbor, someone you know well in your short journeys, or somebody you know from your early education. It could be it could be something Capricorn related, such as something with the knees, the bones, or the joints. And again, this could be making you feel somewhat despondent or dejected as well. But also, this could be a period where this may manifest in taking on serious responsibilities to third house matters, such as your transportation. It could be someone you know from your early education. It could be siblings, cousins, neighbors, perhaps at this time. So anyway, and also older people may be more prominent in your communications, more so at this time than usual. And even the father may be more, may factor in strongly in those matters as well. Anyway, next thing up. Uranus will be in Taurus as far as November goes, from the 1st until the 6th. So the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, in some cases, this could manifest in the formulation of new financial ideas in connection with perhaps in forming a business partnership. It could be dealing with more, it could be at this time that your relationships may be more erratic and sporadic at this time, and dealing with unusual, stubborn behavior, maybe from a grandmother. It could be somebody that it might be a significant other. This could be somebody you know, maybe in a legal field or some arbitration field, some 7th house profession. And now also too, Taurus friendships or people that embody Taurus-like characteristics. It could be Taurus, Sun, Moon, Ascendant people, or ones that embody Taurus-like characteristics might figure more prominently in your legal matters. It could be dealing with open adversaries, legal opponents, and even your relationships perhaps as well. And a lot of it in terms of whether they positively impact it or negatively, of course, could depend on the aspects that it makes to other astrological points in your chart. Now, and this time too, if you're unattached, Scorpio, it could be a time where you might marry a foreigner, and it could in some cases it might be a Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Taurus-like characteristics, someone that you might see is very loyal, stable, stolid, very persistent, and steadfast, for example. Anyway, next thing up is, as far as November goes, Uranus will be in Aries from the 6th until the 30th, so the 6th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, you may find yourself dealing with a rather enigmatic health matter. This could be about dealing with very unpredictable, volatile outbursts in work, in your employment. It could be unpredictable, volatile outbursts from a fellow employee, or maybe even a boss in some cases. Or someone in your daily routine, somebody that you might render some service to. And also too, in a positive end though, this could manifest in incorporating ingenuity and pioneering energy into your daily routine. But at the same time, remember, this is could also manifest in Aries friendships, perhaps factoring more in your work life than usual in your daily routine. It could have to do with some kind of service that's being rendered, your employment, maybe even matters with your pets. They might be helping you take care of them. They could be Aries, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Aries-like characteristics at this time. So anyway, And also your daily routine might be a little bit more erratic and sporadic and more unpredictable, and might be hard to find consistency in this. I have Uranus in my 6th house in my natal chart. And also too, what I want to say is that also in some cases this could be about getting, maybe dealing with some kind of nerve issue like nerve damage. I mean, I have this Uranus almost exactly conjuncts my 6th house in my natal chart, and I have extensive nerve damage. And I mean, remember that Uranus can be about electricity. And when you're dealing with nerve damage, anybody that's had this can say they know that in some cases this could be about like shocking, really sensations. And Uranus can be connected with things that are shocking and electricity. So, and also it can be connected with nerves as well. So anyway. Well, last but not least, next to last but not least, Neptune will be in Pisces still, so the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, you might be dealing, sadly, with some deception and duplicity from children. It could be lovers, someone you're in a romantic relationship with, and maybe somebody that you might share some kind of creative interest or hobby with. You might delude yourself in speculative matters at this time, and also be careful and guard against unrealistic speculative things at this time. Now, also too, this may manifest in the dissolving or dissipation of a lover, of children, perhaps maybe the connection with them. Maybe at this time of maybe the dissolving or dissipation of your own fun, amusement, or enjoyment. And children and lovers may appear more nebulous and unclear than usual. If you're going to do some kind of investment, something that's connected with something of a speculative nature, just make sure that you're seeing the fine print at this time, because when Neptune energy could be very nebulous and unclear, and you might not be seeing all the details and fine print in these matters at this time. On a positive end, though, you may find yourself doing some thing of enjoyment at this time. It might be a hobby that's connected with the metaphysical, which can include astrology, something with illusions such as doing magic tricks, doing something with chemistry, photography, anything that could be Neptune related, poetry, dancing. Okay, now last but not least, Pluto will be in Capricorn still. So the 3rd house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, in some cases, I know a lot of you don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but I'm going to anyway, is that this could reflect the actual literal death of a sibling, a cousin, a neighbor, someone. It might be somebody from your early education, perhaps someone that's prominent in your short journeys. It could be someone you know well or have a rapport with at a local grocery store, for example, or a gas station, convenience store. At the same time, in some cases, this could be about the obliteration or destruction of your, perhaps of some kind of communications, or in even maybe connection with your neighbors. It could mean that you wind up moving to a different neighborhood. But remember at this time that when we're talking about Pluto, it can be about obliteration and destruction, but it's also about rebirth and regeneration. So when something goes away with Pluto, it can often be supplanted and replaced at another point in time. And also guard against manipulative behavior and very domineering behavior in connection with your siblings, your cousins, your neighbors at this time. So also too, another way this could manifest is that in some cases, it could be about a voice transformation. In some cases where maybe there's something that happens with one's voice or one's speech and communication at this time, where it goes through some kind of major change for whatever reason. And especially I could see this if there's like some kind of like an aspect to Uranus, I would say would be something maybe to consider as far as that goes. And whether, if it makes an adverse aspect to it, it could be maybe a change, maybe a sudden, it could even be a sudden abrupt change for the worse. But if there's actually, let's say that it makes a sextile or a trine to your natal Uranus, it could be actually maybe some kind of change, perhaps actually for the better. And as far as maybe your voice transforming, or maybe even just the way you speak, could be for the better for whatever reason. So anyway, Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Scorpio November 2018 horoscope forecast. Stay tuned next time where I'll be giving you my Sagittarius November 2018 horoscope forecast. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.